Tommy Rowlands, dad extraordinaire. Dad or coach more so today? What would you say?
I'm 50-50 right now. I'd like to be more dad than coach in a couple years, but right now, as my boys are getting introduced to the sport, I kind of feel like I want to be involved and understand how they're reacting to all the different things that occur in wrestling at a young age. So.
It looks like it's been fun for you today. Second and third.
That's right. Yeah.
For who is it? It's Joey
and Logan, my twin boys.
Yeah, the twins got second and third. Both got beat by the same guy, but a lot of learning, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Learning a lot of stuff. But
That's right.
What's the biggest thing you want the twins to take out of this?
My twins and my oldest son is the same way. I just want them to develop an affinity for the sport. I want them to enjoy wrestling. So. Being successful, I quite honestly, I think that has a little bit to do with it, not all of it. So, I encourage them to learn and develop, and we try to win, but we try to present the sport in a different way so that they're understanding the merits of wrestling and understanding what's fun about it. I kind of want to make them a fan of wrestling. So, we go to watch the Buckeyes, we watch wrestling on YouTube and Flow Wrestling, and so that's kind of what I'm trying to do here with them, at least. And so the twins, they got second and third, lost to the same guy today, and that guy whipped them pretty good. It was pretty handily. So it just takes some processing for them, mental processing, to understand what happens there. But I think by and large they're happy. They enjoyed themselves. They got a smile on their face right now, and so that's good. That's a win to me.
You've traveled internationally. You've seen how everybody else develops. People, you've been to Russia. You've been all over the world, right?
Yeah,
and wrestled.
Yeah.
You look at how much different their system is than ours. And I wasn't even going to dig down this rabbit hole, but it's crazy to think that they don't wrestle competitions like this.
No. I think a lot of people think that the overseas wrestling systems, primarily the Russian system, that these guys don't even get on the mat until they're 16. That's completely untrue. They're on the mat at a very young age. But to your point, Zeb, you're absolutely correct. They don't compete really at all. They don't put the singlet on with the referee until they're 13, 14-ish. So our system's different. The way that we present the sport to the kids is different to an extent. I think a lot of it is toxic and unhealthy. But here I am with my own kids at a tournament. So I don't think I think it's all about how it's presented to the child. I think it's all about how the coaches and the parents apply the sport of wrestling and introduce the sport of wrestling to the kids as opposed to the actual competing as a 6 or 7 year old. So it's too long-winded to even talk about an interview.
Yeah, I know. And we got plenty of time, but your kid's going to wrestle. I don't want to miss that.
But I think it's an interesting dynamic, and I don't think anybody has the secret sauce. I don't think there's any one way to get it done. The more I coach my own kids, the more I realize I don't know about what it takes, so to speak. So, at the end of the day, you can't manufacture greatness. I think people inherently know that. But, I guess as a parent and as a coach, I hope that my kids, because of the way that I've introduced them to the sport and other sports, that they develop a passion for something and that they want to be great. Chami, chill out, buddy.
Building a love for it, though. You talk about that,
absolutely.
making them a fan, building a love for it. Tommy's right here next to me.
Yeah.
I could smack him on the head.
Yeah.
But when we talk about it, like you as a dad, you as a coach, building the love for it, how do you do that?
I don't know how you do that. I'm working on it every day. I think that being a fan of something and enjoying the game of wrestling and treating it like a game and focusing on taking a lot of shots or learning a new technique. For example, the underhook throw by, we call it the IMAR in our house, because Tommy loves watching Isaiah Martinez. So trying to do the IMAR, trying to, making it fun, trying to talk about wrestling as if it's a game, not as if it's a way of life. I think it becomes that way. That's why the business I'm a part of, our tagline is a way of life. But for these kids, it needs to be perceived as a game. It needs to be perceived as something that they're out there trying to do. It's a contest, and it's a little bit of a Rubik's Cube. And if they learn how to look at wrestling as kind of a daily problem-solving type of thing, I think that they learn to enjoy that. I think they like that.
How much different is being a mid-30s father of 4 compared to the competition life? You're an Olympic alternate. The competition level you did for decades.
Yeah.
How much has your life changed since 2012, stepping off the mat in Iowa City? How much has your life changed?
Well, I think drastically. I think, it's living, trying to be an Olympic champion and living the Olympic dream for nearly a decade it's a very selfish lifestyle, and people applaud you for having that narrow focus. Well, when you walk off the mat and you retire, you don't want to be anything like that. You know, you don't want to have a narrow focus. You don't want to be selfish. You want to serve. You want to be there for your spouse. You want to be there for your kids. And so it's an adjustment. I think I've made that adjustment. But by all means, when you live your life a certain way for 10 years, it's different adjusting into, I guess you could call it, civilian life. And so it's a challenge, I think, for every guy that leaves the sport at a high level, but it's something that you need to figure out if you want to be an upwardly mobile person. So I think that's fun. As it relates to raising my kids in wrestling, I think it's the greatest sport in the world. You know, I love wrestling. I think it changed my life. So I want for my boys to enjoy the sport the same way I did, but you can't instill that. They instill that in themselves. So I think how you get them in wrestling, reacting to how they react to what happens in the sport is very, very delicate. It's day by day, case by case for each kid of mine. And so that's why I feel like there's no secret sauce. That's why I feel like, you know, I feel like I know less about wrestling now, the wrestling mentality, than I did when I retired, because I was just worried about me.
OAC, you know, we talk about how this environment can become toxic. I think they're quite the opposite of that. You know, it's pushing a great competition and a great product, and it's the best. It's where the best competition for your kids. Yeah. Outside of Tulsa, kickoff, and all that. And
I would completely agree with that. I don't want people to misunderstand that I'm questioning the governing bodies. I think we do it to ourselves. I think that coaches, parents, kids, they do it to themselves. They create this measuring stick every Saturday and every Sunday, hopping from one tournament to the next, and they create this measuring stick for themselves it's not reality. So you know, it's almost like, you know, something that you build your own mousetrap, and that's what I think is toxic and unhealthy. I think the OAC does a great job, first class. I mean, if you're gonna run a youth state tournament, a youth event system, you know, I think you should take notes from the OAC. It's a phenomenal
Tommy took
event.
third last year?
He took third last year. In
so I mean, you're here for a reason, not because it's not the best. You're here because it's the best tournament, the best.
Yeah, I think it's the most competitive. And, you know, there's a lot of state tournaments out there, and you know, to me, I only want my kids to know one benchmark, and I don't want to talk about it a whole lot with them, but I still like a little bit of that in their life, and so we choose the OAC because I think it's the most accurate and the most reputable measuring stick out there in this part of the country, in Ohio especially. So that's not to say that these other tournaments we don't go to. I mean, it's just I think this is a good event.
Okay, last thing, Rudis.
Yeah.
You work with Rudis. You also do a lot of logistical stuff.
Yeah.
And you're on a logistical ends of things.
Yes.
When I talk to you about everything you're doing, you know, that's logistics. Your job with produce and everything else you're doing. Where's Rudis, and is it where you want it to be? Is the trajectory upward where you want it to be?
Yeah, so I'm vice president of sales for a produce company for a living, and the owner of that produce company started a transportation logistics company that I have management over. So that's what I truly do for a living, 60 to 70 hours a week. I'm a partner at Rudis and started the company with Jeff Jordan and Jesse Lang. We've since brought in Nancy Schultz, and it's a passion of mine to be involved in a business that is in wrestling. And I think that we're scaling the business in a way that's going to allow us to accomplish the goals we've set out to accomplish, which is to be the most accurate and authentic expression of wrestling worldwide. And we want to do that. We're nowhere close, but I think we're making up ground. We're doing a lot of things that allow us to get to that point. We're going to do a lot of special things in the next couple of years over and above what we're currently doing. And it takes risk. It's very entrepreneurial. It's very just like wrestling. You know, you've got to put it all out there without any guarantee. And so we're hoping to do that. But I'm very happy with where Rudis is at. Jesse Lang runs the company. He's the blood, guts, and feathers of what we do and how we do it. And he's a tremendous leader. And so without his leadership, I don't think any of this would happen. You can have good ideas. You can have good connections and relationships. And a lot of the partners at Rudis have that, myself included. But if it all comes down to execution. And so the folks at Rudis are doing a phenomenal job, and I'm excited for what the future holds for sure.
All right, this kid's going to wrestle soon. He's antsy. You got anything else for me?
No, man. Appreciate all you do. I'm always watching your videos, always at the best wrestling events in America, so keep doing what you do. It's good to see you.